Lights. Boom. Lights. Boom. All right, we are live on Lights. Twitch. And double check X. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get the chat open here. Boom, 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 boom. Good morning, everyone. We are going to get started in just a minute or two here. We'll give people a chance to kind of join the Twitch channel. Cosmic, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, what a cool thing to kind of get the team all together in one place on camera here, right?
Oh, nice. Somebody's training Flux Loras.
Awesome, Calvin. We love to hear it. All right. Well, we got some people piling in now. So let's get this started. Guys, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you all are. My name is Tyler, and welcome to our very first Civitai State of the Union team stream. This is something that we have been wanting to do for a minute, and this is going to be the first of many where we kind of get the leadership team together and talk about things that we have achieved, things we maybe hope we could have done better, and things that we are working on for the next couple months going forward. Why don't we, sorry, let me put everyone's names on here real quick. Real quick, for folks that maybe don't know who we all are, why don't we just do a quick roundabout and then we'll get started. So for those that don't know me, my name is Tyler. I am the head of content marketing here at Civitai. And Ali.
My name's Ali. I am the community engagement manager. So if you've used the support desk, if you've used the education hub or spoken to CivBot, then that's on me.
My name is Max. I'm a COO and I guess just general guy at Civitai. Yeah, I call it good.
General guy. That is the title we could all hope for.
Yeah, Chief
Justin.
Dude.
I'm Justin. I'm the CEO and CTO, and anytime there's something wrong with the site, it's my fault. So sorry.
And Maddie.
Hey everyone, I'm Maddie. I'm the head of partnerships, and I help run the Project Odyssey initiative as well.
Awesome. Well, guys, yeah, we're not really going to waste any time here. We got a very busy day, and we're going to let Justin kick it off, and then we'll probably just kind of go down the list here and talk about things that we've done and things that we are working on. So, Justin, what would you like to say to these fine people?
Boy, so I was hoping to talk a little bit about the stuff that we've done over the last 3 months or so, and it has been a lot. I got to say the first half of this year felt kind of slow, but just these last 2 months alone have moved really quickly. So for those of you who have been living under a rock, Flex was released last month, and we moved quickly to try and get generation added to the site. I think we had it the same week that it was released, and then the next week we had training on the site as well. So it's been awesome to see the community take off around Flex and see how quickly its ecosystem has grown. For comparison, it's fun to think about like SDXL versus Flux. So SDXL came out around July of last year, and it took, probably until about March before it overtook kind of SD15 in popularity. And right now, SDXL versus Flux, for example, Flux has grown so much faster than SDXL. And so it's cool to think that we're kind of a part of that by enabling more people to train more easily with Flux and enabling more people to generate with Flux and to see all of the cool things that have been happening within the community around that. So that's been a really exciting one. Another thing that we launched shortly before that was the introduction of kind of what we're calling workflows. It's what I would call phase one of it. Essentially, right now we have a set of predefined workflows that we allow people to run, things like face fix and high res fix and combinations of those things. And we have more plans for that later that I'll talk about a little bit later. Another thing that just came out last week, boy, it all moves so quickly, was Civitai Green. So for those of you that haven't heard about that, it's essentially a safer version of the site. So imagine you just set all of your filters to PG and limit it to just that. That's essentially what the safe site is and what Green's all about. Makes it so that you can send your grandma there and you don't have to worry about her stumbling across something that is a little bit questionable. So got that introduced last week as part of a kind of launching of various sites and things like that. More coming there again as well. And then we had some big creator updates that happened over the last 3 months as well, with the introduction of some big creator economy things like creator compensation inside of the generator. So now creators will get essentially 25% of the buzz that we're bringing in through the on-site generator. And we also give them the ability to get tips. So now people can set a tip percent that they want to give to the creators, and we handle splitting that up within the creators. And it's been fun to see how that's taken off. We've already given out essentially, I guess it's 34 million buzz for tips as part of that, which has been awesome to see. And it continues to go up all the time. So that's been awesome as well. And then we also recently launched early access. So now creators have the ability, if they've earned enough reputation, to put LoRa's or models or base models, whatever, into early access. And it allows them to essentially set a price to either unlock it for generating or for downloading. And so it's been awesome to see creators start to earn even more buzz that way. And buzz is fun for on-site stuff, but one of the things that we're aiming to do here soon will hopefully make it more valuable. And I'll talk about that in a bit as well. But that's the big things from my end. And I'm sure I missed some things because there's a lot and we move quickly. But yeah, that's it from my end.
You know what I think one of the coolest things to see over the past couple months, and even before that, with kind of like buzz and flux and just how much people can do on the site by interacting with one another, is I'm starting to realize, and I see a lot from the social end, how many people actually use Civitai as their main like social hub that are into AI art, because they don't really have interest in posting on Twitter or doing the Instagram grind. And Civitai really is like their social home of everything that they do with this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome to see. I think one of the things that's been really fun is after we started charging for the use of the generator, charging buzz there, seeing the amount of people that engage just to get that buzz reward. So the amount of reactions has increased dramatically. And I think that, the incentive of getting buzz is great, but I don't know, it feels good to get those milestone notifications saying, hey, your image has received 20 reactions or whatever. And it makes you want to keep going. There have been many times where I find myself spending way too much time browsing the site and generating stuff because I think it'll be cool to share. And it's just a good time.
Awesome. Ali, you want to go next?
Sure, I can do. I'll give you a quick rundown of what I've been up to in the last quarter. So support desk, the support desk is thriving. We've got a proper ticketing system in place to manage the almost 2,000 tickets that we're dealing with each month. We have 2 full-time, 1 part-time agent on the desk, and we're hitting a resolution for all these tickets of about 75% within our SLA of 48 hours. Now that's 48 calendar hours, not business hours. So we're processing these tickets, handling them, all hours of the day. Next quarter focuses on how we scale this up efficiently, how we bring on board more agents so that we can, deliver the support that you guys expect from us. Next, I want to mention the Education Hub. So last month, we've really shown the potential with the community-driven articles. We started pulling content from your content, community content from the website onto the Education Hub. I think we can do a lot more there. We're seeing in the last quarter, we saw 132,000 unique visitors to the Education Hub, which is, it's impressive for a specialized space. These kind of informed users are strengthening the entire community because I see you guys out there in the chats, helping out users who might not be quite as knowledgeable. So next quarter, expect more growth for the Education Hub, more content, and more community involvement. Office hours. If you've probably seen me before, I stream Monday and Wednesday with updates about the website. I want to keep that going. We've built a strong core, following, and with Tyler's help, we've managed to grow the Twitch to 3,000 followers. I think fantastic. I mean, super good. So moving forward, I'm going to start streaming office hours the same way that Tyler streams on Restream across all the platforms. So I'm looking forward to that. Generative AI Wiki is one thing I would like to mention. So it was inaugurated this last quarter. Many people don't really know it exists. wiki.civitai.com. It's a closed wiki. We've got the basics in place, 200 pages, but there's no real go-to source for a generative AI wiki for this kind of knowledge on the net. I've scoured the net, nothing like it. It's just difficult to run a wiki. A lot of information has to be thrown in there. So this next quarter, it's going to be a priority for me to get it going. We're probably going to open up for public edits, but to do that, we have to have a team. I've got the makings of a team. We're called the Wiki Brigade. We'll put out some announcements about how you can volunteer to join that. And it's got huge potential. We're going to be the space to come to for generative AI knowledge. So with the help of the community, you guys, we can get there this coming quarter. And lastly, I just want to say that one of my main priorities is simplifying the onboarding experience and the getting up to speed experience on Civitai. It's an incredibly complex platform, we all know, and most of you guys, or many of you, have been with us for well over a year, maybe from the start, and that's been you've been gradually building your knowledge over time. New users can't do that; they get dropped into the website and they have to learn instantly from the ground up. So it's critical that we make that as easy as possible for them to get started and to navigate the site effectively. So I'm going to be working on improving that flow, better integration of educational resources into the website. So that's what's on the cards for me. On to Maxfield.
Tyler, you're about to say something. Go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say on the last thing that Ali said. Isn't it funny that the easier all this stuff gets to use, and the more simplified all the tools get, we're at the same time bombarded with even more tools. So then I could just imagine a new person trying to get into all this, kind of being frozen deer in the headlights, not really knowing. Whereas before it was just oh, okay, I have to learn automatic 1111.
Right.
That's the thing I have to learn. And now it's just oh my God.
There's so much. Yeah, there's so much. You could spend 24 hours a day looking at new things and you'd never see all of it. There's just too much to see. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Hopefully it continues to trend that way. It's one of the big, wonderful parts about all this open source stuff is there's just more and more people who can contribute to it. Just more and more people actually get involved. So cool to watch it explode. I actually don't have anything on this list, man, as far as what we could potentially go over. I think Justin covered a lot of what the main features we had released in the last quarter. You went over a lot of what we wanted to do, both on the support side and the community side. We can talk a little bit about moderation and kind of the efforts that we've made there, if we want. Unless Ali, you already touched on that. No, did you touch on moderation at all?
I didn't touch moderation. No.
Let me talk about moderation some then. It's been no secret, I think, probably that the moderation side of things has needed a lot of help over the last essentially since the inception of the website, right? And we've made a lot more efforts in the last month, 2 months, I'd say, to get a lot more people on the moderation team, get a lot more people trained up, and put a lot more actual automated features to be able to better moderate the site itself. Additionally, we've partnered with additional agencies to both hold ourselves accountable and to be more transparent in moderation efforts that we're taking and what's actually coming out of this. So, for instance, the work we're doing with Thorn is a good example of that. Something that we've worked on is some additional technology to be able to do a better job of moderating the content that's on the site. That makes it so humanized, don't have to be as exposed to this as possible. There's a lot of challenges that we didn't really expect were going to pop up when we created Civitai originally from a moderation standpoint. But when you create an open platform that's open to everybody, it's open to everybody, and there's a lot of stuff that gets posted there that needs to be potentially removed to never see the light of day. And there's some stuff that's just interesting and is maybe just deserves its own kind of like little corner of the internet as opposed to just being exposed to everyone. As far as moderation in the future, there's a lot we're doing there in terms of both image and model moderation to better track, what's being uploaded to the site. How are we better addressing it, and how can we best serve up the correct content to the correct users? That kind of bleeds a little bit into the filtering stuff that I'm sure Justin's going to touch on and into what we want to get into the next quarter. But it's all kind of part and parcel, and Civitai Green is sort of a precursor for that to a degree of showing like pre-staged filtering options. I could share some stats around moderation. I shared a lot of those in the article that we posted recently about Civitai Green, kind of like about what we've done on the moderation side of things, like what has been removed, how many DMCA requests and personality likenesses that we've responded to. And so I don't want to get into the details of the numbers there, but I'd recommend you read the article if you want to get any like specific statistics about that. As we get popular, and we're already popular, as we get more and more popular, I expect a lot of those numbers to only go up. But it's important to see, like in context of the percentage of total content being posted to the site, what that looks like. Because all in all, it shows that 99.5% of the users on this site are fantastic, and we just have to deal with the 0.5% that aren't. Cool. Tyler, you want to go?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Max. So guys, from my side, I know you all hear from me at least twice a week, and I'm always yapping on the social medias, but to give you guys a little update, since social is kind of my realm, we have hit a bunch of new milestones across all of our social channels. We just hit 14,000 followers on Instagram, and we reach on average between 50 and 100,000 new accounts that usually have nothing to do with AI every month on there. And we're so close to hitting 10,000 followers on X. So X is where a lot of our regular updates, and we share really cool lauras that we find on the site, and we post our streams. We also stream live on X. So if you guys are not following us on X, please do, because it's just another touch point where you can join us as we highlight stuff that you guys are doing in the community. As Ali mentioned, we crossed 3,000 Twitch subs, which is amazing. There's no other AI channel, I don't think, doing anything like this, or that has something going on like this. So this previous quarter, though, we actually broke a bunch of our live stream records, whereas previously we were averaging 500 viewers for every single one of these streams, and now we average 800 to 900 viewers. And I think, Ali, we hit a peak on one of your streams at 1,300, you said?
Yeah, that was it. They were just over 1,300. I was wearing the bikini at the time, the Civitai bikini.
Okay, so that's the hack. That's the hack.
It.
That's why I've only been able to hit 1,200. I need the Civitai bikini.
That would do it.
No, but that's really great. And so over this previous quarter, on the live streams, we've done a lot of kind of like interviews and industry insights with people from a lot of different corners and niches throughout this AI sphere, because it's become even more apparent as I've been in social for so long that there's so many different niches within what already to us feels like we're in this niche. And it's been really cool to talk to so many people over the last quarter and get their insights from the professional side of things. And for those of you that haven't seen those streams, they're all up on our YouTube. There's a lot of really great takeaways from each person that's come on the stream, even if it hasn't been a direct tutorial. And that's been a really big goal of mine, was to get these different perspectives to help you guys see that if you do want a future in doing this stuff, it's there. For this upcoming quarter, though, I'm going to start to shift back to more tutorial-based streaming content, as well as more tutorial and tips and tricks based short form content. And that's going to go hand in hand with a campaign that we have coming up in the next couple months. Can't give you too many details on that just yet because we're still planning it out. But there's going to be a lot more help for you guys who want to do cooler things with what you're doing and really start to up your game. And we're going to be bringing in really talented AI artists to help us do that. That is it for me. Maddie, you want to tackle it?
For sure. So in terms of what we've been working on, we had the successful Project Odyssey first competition, which we ran from June to July, and then we announced the winners. So there was a lot of love that went into it from all those different companies. I think we had Luma, Leonardo, 11 Labs, Think Diffusion, Real Dreams, Deforum, Morph Studio, LensGo, Domo, DeepMake, Neural Frames, AILA. Let me just check the list to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Trippo, yeah, Fabric, Deforum, 01 Scene, Late Arrivals, AI on the Lot. So really trying to bring together all of the different sides of both the communities, the companies, and the creators to make it like the Olympics, where there is some neutral ground where all these companies can get together, bring their free trials, send their best talented people from their communities, and see how we can push the medium forward. What we're trying to achieve here is being able to not have it siloed to one company or community. That's why it's under the, even though Civitai is being the main organizer, it's under that Project Odyssey banner because we want it to be a shared thing for the entire community, being able to unify everyone so that it's, we're not infighting when we're trying to legitimize it to traditional film, media, entertainment. Although we're starting with film because that's the lowest hanging fruit for entertainment. Our goal is really how can we expand to all areas of creativity. So the next competition we'll be doing around probably in Q4 in winter sometime, so October, November, also having it a 1 month period. We'll be bringing on Kling, Vidu, LTX Studio, a bunch of other wonderful sponsors, bigger prizes, more categories, really trying to push it forward and legitimize it for mainstream audiences. On the partnership side, for all of these companies, our strategy is how can we think of them rather not as competitors, but as collaborators. So what we built out for the Project Odyssey competition, which you can actually see on site today, is the tool tagging system. So when you're making a video, when you're uploading an image, you can tag not only the workflows you used, image to video, text to video, similar to how you can put your foundational model or your prompts, but you can also put your tool tags there. So you can say, maybe you made this in Midjourney and then you upscaled it in Magnific and then you remixed it on Civitai. Being able to have those options, because there's no one tool that does it all, at least at this point. And we're trying to be able to, not gatekeep. We want to be able to celebrate all of these tools within the ecosystem, give them that platform, and be that creator hub for it all, being able to focus really on those social and community building elements for any of those different tools. Of course, we, our core focus and our core community is that open source, and that will always be a part of who Civitai is, for forever. But we also wanted to understand that there are these other options that people like to do, and perhaps that's an on-ramp to some of the open source side, where they might try something that's a little bit more high level and high touch, and then they see all the wonderful things that you and the open source community are doing, and we're able to have some of that cross-pollination, more options to spend buzz on, more options to get your work seen, and have a little bit of that friendly competition. So that's our game plan going into the next half or so, being able to really work with everyone and bring it all together under Civitai as that time square.
And I think it's been really cool, man, especially with so we talk about some of these closed source tools like Kling and Runway and Luma, but I love when I open up my Civitai homepage and in the featured images, there's the blocks. And now every now and then I'll get a homepage because it randomizes every time where the blocks with the characters in them of things that people generated are moving, and it's almost like they're like living on the page because people are taking images they generate on the generator or in Comfy, they're animating them, they're uploading them to the site, and now everything there's like a huge portion of the site that feels like it's like living and breathing because of it.
Yeah, as part of that, while image has been our bread and butter, we're trying to build out more of those support options for video, not just those under 30-second autoplay ones, but also full short films. For the Project Odyssey competition, I think we increased our upload limit to 4 minutes, and higher data file size for that. Added play and pause features and audio slider. So we're kind of building the cart as we were riding it. But for this next competition, we're excited to make that even more robust and have a really good video player, being able to embed it in different areas. Understanding how that post system versus the image system, how for these competitions we can make that easier, and even for these companies. It was really hard to run a competition. There's so many of these different logistics, from submissions to judging to what you approve and what you showcase. So thinking of how we can package that up and give it to different communities. Banadoko runs awesome competitions that we've helped out a little bit on their Green World event. So being able to bring all these community groups together, have them run their competitions or their other campaigns on Civitai, have that post back feature, and be able to bring it all together, one happy family. At least we hope.
Well, you did a great job with Project Odyssey. Justin, kind of coming back to you, I think it's really cool because I know that we all get really caught up in our day-to-day when we're in the middle of working on things, and especially you guys. I know sometimes there's a lot of fires to be put out day-to-day, but isn't it kind of cool to kind of like sit down and kind of like really realize everything that has been accomplished even just recently?
Yeah, it's a lot. We move really fast. And I guess personally, I'm always like, okay, now on to the next thing. Because it always feels like we're behind, because there's just this never ending list of things for us to do. We care a lot about our community, and the feature request list that we have that Max keeps prodding me to go look at and spend time prioritizing. Ali's shaking his head too, because he agrees, has like 500 things on it. And so, it's more than that. There you go. It's exciting to hear about and see the things that we've done and to see people using them. But I'm just eager to get on to the next thing, get the next big release out, to add the thing that people are clamoring for because it's missing, or to solve the problem that is frustrating people all over the place. So I like the time to reflect here, but I'm most excited about where we're going next. And I think I'm just always going to be that way. So I guess happy to reflect with you, Tyler, and it's cool to see the community, reflecting with us. But I'm excited to see where we'll be at by the end of the year, because I think it's only going to be even better.
Awesome. Well, since we kind of recapped everything, is there anything else you guys want to talk about for going forward before we kind of wrap this up and get back to the middle of our workday?
Sure. There's a few things I was hoping to talk about for what's coming up soon. And I know that Max alluded to some of them. One of them is kind of around discoverability. Something that we've been working on for a while, and it's just kind of gotten backlogged a few times, is making it so that you can bring an image and see similar images. So we have the ability now for on the back end for us to be able to do that. But the goal is to make it so that if you've got an image that you like, you can bring it in. We'll show you similar images. You can get the prompt for that image. You can see the resources that they use. The whole intent is to make it so that now you can figure out how to basically make anything from things that people in the community have already made. And rather than trying to figure out the words that you need to search and things like that, instead you can bring the image that expresses what it is that you're looking for. So I'm really looking forward to that one, because I think it'll take kind of the ability to find the LoRa's or the model that you're looking for to a whole nother level. So that'll be a good one. Another evolution that I'm looking forward to is the launch of community workflows. So part of the reason why it took so long for us to do this workflow stuff is we were doing a lot of work behind the scenes to be able to support complex, comfy workflows. And what we're aiming to do kind of this later half of the year is to open it up so that the community can build workflows as well, whether those are video workflows or image workflows or whatever they are, to make it so that then creators can share their workflows, whether they want them to be open or closed, and have it exposed to other people that want to be able to use their workflows to do, making a video from an image or improving an image with some fancy high res or upscaling workflow that they've put together, things like that. So I'm excited about that one. There's several kind of community things that we've been talking about for quite some time that I'm excited about as well. Ali kind of already touched on improvements that we're going to be making to kind of helping with that onboarding experience. Like he said, there is so much to take in on the site. And, I as an engineer myself, and as somebody that's kind of been a part of this whole journey, it all kind of makes sense to me. But I think that for new people coming in, it can be overwhelming. Seeing that little pony icon on a model card means nothing to people that are new. And so, lots of little things like that. And I'm looking forward to making it so that it's easier for people to get into the community and to feel like they're a part of it. Another thing that we're planning on doing to kind of assist with that as well is actually putting together a sort of opt-in mentorship program. So if you're somebody new, then you're looking to kind of learn how stuff works. We'd give you a place to kind of list, what it is that you're looking to learn and allow you to essentially get paired with what we're calling Civitai champions. We ran a submission form about 2 or 3 months ago to start aggregating kind of a list of Civitai champions, as we call them, people that are really skilled generators and familiar with the site and can kind of help people learn and grow. And so the goal there with this program is going to be to make it so that if you're trying to get up and running and you got to figure out how to get comfy going or something like that, you've got somebody that you can turn to if you're stuck somewhere. I think that, what we've had on Discord is great, and there's lots of help that happens there. And I'm looking forward to having this program kind of take that to another level. There's also some things around earning more buzz. So we're going to be introducing what we're calling daily challenges to encourage people to post on specific topics. We actually started collecting some of the things for that a few weeks ago. We ran a world morph contest where people submitted resources to convert the world into coffee beans or bones or chickens, things like that. And so the first kind of daily challenge that we're thinking about doing is picking essentially a random world morph and then challenging people to create 20 unique images, submit them to a collection. And then when you do that, you'll earn buzz for that day's challenge. So looking forward to that. Should be a fun way to get people engaged more and see what people can come up with these kind of quick, crazy world morphs, if you will. And then another one that we were just talking about earlier this week that I'm looking forward to as well is actually a cosmetics contest and making it so that there's specific cosmetics that kind of come out of each contest. I know that that's something that you and I spoke about briefly, Tyler, so maybe I'll let you talk about that one a little bit more.
Yeah, no. So obviously you guys have seen over the past couple months, the cosmetic shop really kind of come alive, especially with us exploring the ways that we can make really cool cosmetics for you all. But we want to get the community more involved in that, because I know firsthand, it's really cool when you go to when you click on someone's page, you go to look at a model or a Laura, and all of a sudden on their profile thing, you see something that you made, like they're wearing it on their profile. It's a cool feeling, and we want to help you guys feel some of that. So we're going to be running some contests and doing some things to get community-made cosmetics into the shop that we will animate and bring to life. But a portion of the buzz made from that sale will actually go back to the person who originally created the cosmetic and the design. So it's going to be a good way to kind of loop everyone into that whole thing and get you guys involved, and hopefully just really incentivize everyone to just create and upload better and better things so that you can get your cosmetic featured in the cosmetic shop and get people wearing it as like a badge of honor on their profile.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. I think another thing that's kind of been top of my mind shortly after having launched Civitai Green has been some of the moderation stuff that Max has talked about. One of the things that's come up in Reddit was, our policy around the depiction of the realistic depiction of minors on the site. And it was a policy that we made shortly after we launched the site, just out of a concern of like, hey, can we wanted to essentially avoid any problems there. And so now, as we have this site that's dedicated to safe only content, it's one of those things that we're going to probably be reviewing here over the next few weeks and figuring out what makes sense for this new environment that we've created. So I'm looking forward to kind of what that does, as well as we start to be able to create safer spaces for things like that. So that'll be a fun change over the next little while, as well as to kind of open up new categories that had previously been restricted just because of concerns about overlapping content types and things like that.
Awesome. Well, Max, anything you want to tag on? And while we're kind of doing this, chat, if you guys have any questions, we'll do a kind of Q&A here at the end. If you guys want to throw anything into the chat for that you would like the team to answer for you all.
All I'd say is we have a lot in the works here. If Justin didn't talk about it, I'm not allowed to talk about it. So, I'll go with that.
Cool. Well, guys, yeah, we'll give you a couple minutes. Throw your questions in the chat, and we'll tackle a few of them before we kind of wrap it all up here.
That's a great idea. I should do that. I wonder if somebody's already registered it. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Oh boy. Yeah, good old Skippy. Have you guys kept up with Skippy's story? Probably not. I feel like I'm the only person on the team that even knows about Skippy. So Skippy, for those of you that don't know, and there's a collection. We should see if we can link to it after this stream, Tyler. I'll get you a link. We, as part of the maintenance mode contest, so a few weeks ago, we ran a maintenance mode contest to collect new images to feature on our maintenance mode page, which are there now, by the way. Hopefully you won't ever see them because we never go down, so you'll never see it. Skippy was created by somebody there as part of that competition. He was a clown that set our server room on fire. And then it kicked off this whole like legacy where like day after day, there was new things happening with Skippy and ways that he was wrecking Civitai. At one point, somehow he had positioned himself to become CEO, and he was giving a speech at TEDx about how he had become CEO of Civitai. So quite the legacy. Last I saw, and I need to catch up, he was going up to visit his brother in Canada. I don't know why. I need to go catch up on the story, but it was pretty epic. So,
dude, I love the site lore. I love this
actual lore. Like, is this actual canon? Has this come up previously before? If so, I've never heard of this.
It's new. It came out of this maintenance mode contest. I'll have to send it to you. New lore all the time.
I think we need a crossover between Skippy and Buzz Daddy.
There you go. Yeah. We're starting to build up the separate characters, and then all come together in the Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so I actually saw a question here at the top that I think would be a good one because I know a lot of people probably wonder this when they upload images. I put it on the screen there. If one of you guys want to take that,
I don't know. I can talk to this one.
Yeah.
It's metadata inside of the images is what we use to determine resources that were used. And while Comfy includes like the whole workflow that was used to generate the image, it only includes the name of the file that was used to generate the resources that were used. And while we could try and match on file name, it's really easy for people to change that. And so we worry about it connecting things incorrectly or things having the same name. And so then we don't know what to connect it to. So typically what we use to kind of make that connection is file hashes. So Automatic 1111, Forge, etc. They all include hashes of the model and the LoRa's that were used that we can automatically pull out and match against the resources that are on the site, because we do all of that hashing as well. And Comfy doesn't have that, so we can't automatically do that matching. Something that's been brought up a lot is the idea of making it so that people can manually pick the resources. And my only qualm with that is kind of two things. First, I feel like it's going to be really time consuming to have to like manually pick the 5 different resources that you used. And second, I worry about people kind of using that to spam stuff, right? Like selecting, 10 different LoRa's that they didn't actually use to then just throw garbage into people's galleries. And it's already kind of an issue because sometimes people will leave resources on by accident. So I'd hate to make that worse. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question about why we don't properly detect resources in Comfy. We talk with the Comfy org from time to time, and it's something that we've talked to them about a few times. So maybe at some point we can get that prioritized and get that figured out.
Awesome. And then there's a really good question from YouTube right here. It says, are there plans to make it possible to attach workflows to LoRa models when releasing them to enable newer Comfy users to configure settings more easily?
Interesting. So like a workflow that's specialized for the LoRa, or would you want to do like a recommendation of like, hey, go use this workflow? Maybe. I think one of the things that I would suggest as kind of a workaround for now is like, there's a section where you can have suggested resources, and you can actually link to workflows from there as well. So if you upload your workflow as like a separate thing, then all of the LoRa's that you want to have recommending that workflow, you can point to it in that area. So not exactly what you're asking for, but I think that it would probably check the box for some people. And then you could probably just mention in the description as well, just in case they missed it.
Gotcha. And then I know that this next question is one that it comes up a lot. So maybe one of you guys can give everyone a little bit more clarity as to how the buzz pricing was kind of established for Flux and what that looks like going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's based off of what we were paying to have another service provider give us Flux service. We didn't have the ability to run Flux right out of the gate because you have to have a license to do that. And so the hope is that as we march forward, though, and as we get a license here with BFL, Black Forest Labs, people that made Flux, then we can start running it in our own workers and ideally start to bring that price down. One of the things that's been really good about working with this service provider that we have right now, though, is that they're super fast. So if you've done just like bare Flux generations, you'll get them back in like less than 10 seconds, which is just awesome. Makes it way more fun to explore. So I think probably what we'll end up doing is giving the choice to the user. So they'll be able to choose, hey, I want a lower price or I want to go faster. And you can choose kind of what fits better for you. So if you're wanting to try and save some buzz, cool, we'll give you a way to do that. If instead you want to keep going fast like you do now, cool, you have the option to do that as well.
Dude, it's crazy how fast Flux is on the site. I have a 4090 and I generate images on site more than I do in Comfy on my computer.
Yeah, the convenience factor is definitely there. Another thing that we're looking at right now actually is the ability to do faster Flux LoRa training as well. The team that we're working with just introduced the ability to train 1,000-step LoRa in 3 minutes or less. So get ready for turbo training, I suppose. It's going to be wild to be able to gather your images. It'll take you longer to pick your images than it will to train your LoRa. It's going to be fun.
Max, would you like to touch on this next one? I know that this has been a huge topic kind of all around lately.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're referring to the AB 3211. That's going around like actual watermarking of content. So we still need to run this by like our actual legal counsel. And I want to clarify everything I'm about to say here is that I am not a lawyer. I have no legal training. Do not in any way take what I'm about to say as gospel.
Clip it.
My understanding of having read through the bill and having looked through it is it looks pretty straightforward in terms of what they're requesting, and what they're requesting isn't necessarily outside the realm of what I would consider like abnormal for as this technology becomes more and more prevalent. It looks like what they're looking for more than anything else is just a way of differentiating between real content and obviously AI generated content. They're, in my opinion, going about it the wrong way because they're asking for AI generated content to be watermarked in some way that's non-removable. Whereas as opposed to, where you should be watermarking real content, since in the next 10 years, real content tends to be like 5% of the content on the internet versus all the rest of it.
Didn't they just release some announcement saying that like AI generated content already accounts for like 57% of content on the internet now? It's wild.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they got that figure though, right? I mean, how do they know that? Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, especially without any watermarking. Who knows? Maybe California's onto something. No, but yeah, so there's some the parts that I can tell that people are scared about when it comes to that bill is the requirements of like, hey, if you cannot accurately watermark, then you can't make your stuff available for residents in California. But they left the bill pretty open in terms of how they define difficult to remove from the watermark or from scrubbing from the data. So like, who knows how they define like what difficult to remove means for watermarking these images. It's all in all, I think it's mostly just being one of those things where as long as you make a reasonable effort to keep that content in some way notated as being like, hey, this is AI generated, then you should be okay. I think we're actually in a pretty good spot for that, since basically all the content on the site, if not all of the content on the site, is AI generated. So it's pretty clear what is and isn't. their main concern overarchingly is just that people would mistake AI generated content for real content. I could go on a whole tangent, and I'm tempted to, about the future of all of this and how I don't think any of that matters because it's all going to be AI generated, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference between any of it. But I won't. I'll save everybody else in this call from having to listen to me rant about that.
Well, thanks for touching on that. I know that that's been a hot topic, and that was like, the hot thing in Reddit for the week and whatnot. Daz had a couple questions here, and some of them I thought were really cool. So one, he asked if maybe the ability to turn featured images into prints on demand for purchase, which it sounds like a cool idea. I don't know what the logistics behind that would look like.
Yeah, we looked at that to some degree. I know, like early on when we were talking about doing the Civitai merch stuff, the main problem we had at the time was that there wasn't like a great way to make sure that it would fit correctly on a shirt. I mean, there's just a lot of like scaling issues, and then you don't want to just end up with a random like 512 by 512 image on like a t-shirt. That's just not going to look good. But there's probably some more we could do. We haven't looked at that in like over a year. We should probably get back to take another look at like what's available now to make something like that available. And then the other question here is Civitai meetups. Yeah, we definitely want to do those. We actually have been talking a lot internally about how we can get those planned. Some people have asked us to do like Civitai Con. I think we're not really at a stage to do that yet. I mean, we're not Minecraft guys. Back off. But it'd be pretty cool to do like some more localized meetups for specific cities and try and get some people together. I mean, even if it's only like 12, 15 people meeting up in a coffee shop and just being like, I like AI porn. Do you? Haha. And then that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be on board.
You guys can always count on Max to have the most base take on everything. Cool. And then I guess the one part, the last part of Daz's question is, do things get tested before they get released on the main site? And I think Justin, you could that
one. Sometimes. No, we try. I think the thing that's really hard is the site is getting big enough that without a lot of extensive automated testing, it's just really, really hard to test kind of all of the potential edge cases. And, we'll test for the specific thing that we're modifying or changing or adding, but that can have kind of side effects that we didn't anticipate. And so then we'll spend the next day working with the community, trying to make sense of like, okay, how did you get that to do that thing? And now we've got to go fix that. It's something that we were actually just talking about as a team internally this week. So hopefully we can do more automated testing here, and you'll experience less bugs. But I appreciate all of you that have taken the time to tell us how to reproduce the issue that you're running into there. And shout out to Ali and the support team that have been working so hard, tirelessly, reporting all of the things and gathering all of the data, because it definitely makes our job as developers easier to try and make sense of like what is wrong. And sometimes it's really complicated, but appreciate you guys being patient with us here as we move as fast as we can to add new stuff without blowing things up too much.
Hey man, I just think it's great that considering how many users and how large the site is, that we have such a large group of people that care enough about it to get so detailed and dive so deep into the stuff that's happening, so that we know it's happening, so that we can fix it for everyone. Kind of bringing us around to the end here. I feel like this is a pretty good question to wrap it up with. So in case you can't see that entire question, he says, are you guys seeing more adherence on your platform? Can you share how many people enter and actually engage, create accounts, or just like close the website? I'm an artist. I'm afraid of much time in the general public will need to get accepted. He's afraid of how much time it'll take the general public to accept AI images. But I guess it's just kind of whatever you guys are willing to share as far as where we're at site growth wise and how large this community actually is.
Yeah. So I can share a few milestones. I think we crossed the 5 million user mark probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And right now we're looking at around 6 million unique visitors each month. And it depends on the analytics system that you look at. So there's definitely interest. I think I would say that the majority of it is people that are mostly intrigued by the content that's there and seeing the things that can be made with AI. That was definitely one of the intents when we launched the site, was to make it clear, a view into kind of what people are making, because it's so diverse. As far as like the uptick goes and, you know, new users joining and staying and things like that, it's been relatively steady. We see around 200 to 300,000 new users register each month, and it continues to grow a little bit month over month. I'd say probably about 10% or so, sometimes more. It really depends on like big releases or whatever. And I think, you know, Max, you can speak to this more. Something that I would say is that the sentiment around kind of AI tools seems to be changing. I think that artists that were previously kind of against it are recognizing that it's a tool, that sure, you can press that prompt button and play it like a game of slot machines or something like that. Maybe you'll get something cool, but it works best when you use it alongside a process that maybe you were doing before. And Tyler can certainly speak to that in the work that he does. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys have to say regarding that stuff.
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I got a couple thoughts on this. I think a lot of what AI is it makes it so easy to hop into. It makes it so simple for anybody, even if they have no like classical art training, no any kind of training whatsoever. Even if you never doodled in your life, as long as you can write a semi-coherent sentence, and even sometimes not even then, you can get an image back, right? That somewhat resembles like what you were hoping to make. And so because of that, we're seeing like a lot more people who are just trying out AI right now. Keep in mind how new this technology is. So we're seeing a lot of what I would consider to be like tourism. I would consider myself as like an AI art tourist personally, right? Like I never really did much art before creating Civitai. I mean, other than unless you count like music, and I wouldn't even count what I make as music, so ignore that. And, when I got to the whole image side of things, it was like, oh, this is neat. I made like maybe like 300, 400 images, and I still make images every once in a while, but it's just not like it's not a big draw for me. Much in the same way, like even if AI art didn't exist, I wouldn't pick up a pencil and start sketching. It's just not something that really excites me as that much. And I think that's true for a whole lot of people, right? Otherwise, you'd have a whole lot more people creating art in general, even before AI existed. In terms of how this like equates to more and more people actually getting to like come to terms with AI and AI art in total, I think it's great because it means there's more and more people who are familiar with the technology, and they're more familiar with what it goes into actually like making the works that come out of it. And for artists, I think nothing really changes, because in the scheme of things, what it comes down to is like, if you're an artist, it's because you have talent and you have taste and you have an ability to actually see and discern things. And other people will be able to recognize what you've created as being, special and unique, regardless of the tools that you use to make it. I don't think it's really going to be a matter of people being accepting of that this is made with AI. It's just, it'll just kind of become so ubiquitous with all creation that they're just not going to ask anymore. It'll be a weird thing to ask. It's kind of like if you see a digital art thing, you ask somebody, did you make this with Photoshop? It's like, it's just a strange question, and I think we're going to get to that point before we get to a point where people are actively rioting in the streets.
From my point of view, I actually feel like it's become a bit more accepted, because I think a lot of the traditional quote unquote art community has now seen that like, this is where things are going. This is here to stay. How do we now kind of like work in tandem with it, or live with it, if you will, for the more cynical ones? For me, I would like to just encourage all of you, because I'm reading some of the comments in the chat. I would like to encourage all of you that if you guys are making stuff with AI that you're proud of, even if it's just putting it on Civitai, use us as your stepping stone to sharing work that maybe you don't feel too comfortable sharing in other public spaces, and get the feedback from the community. But as like an artist, because I am calling everyone who uses AI artists, regardless of what the masses would say, I want to encourage you guys to share your work and put yourself out there, because it's the only way that the stuff you do that you appreciate can be appreciated by others. And even if you don't get 1 million views or 1,000 views, if something you create resonates with one person, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Like, and also all that really matters at the end of the day is if like you enjoy making this stuff and making this brings you joy, that's it. There's nothing else required, and it served its purpose. I could rant about that all day, but I won't, because you guys are getting me on a second stream today at 3 p.m. Pacific. And I actually think today, guys, we're going to be generating some images in the Flux image generator on Civitai. And then we're going to be working through a little pipeline to take those into like Runway or Luma to animate them, because there is a Runway 48-hour video contest coming up. So we'll show you guys how to work us into that for those of you that are interested in doing that in a couple weeks. But I think that is about it. We are hitting the top of the hour. Justin, Max, I know you guys are my bosses, but you guys are also legends. So thank you for just like everyone getting on camera and ranting and doing this. And I think we're definitely going to be doing at least one of these every quarter. We want to be transparent with you guys, the community. We love your feedback. We want you guys to know what's going on and what to look forward to. Yeah, before I like officially close this out here, you guys have any last words?
Throw a little something out to give you some time to think, Max.
Sure.
It's been such a fun time. It's been hard. It's been fun. It's been exciting, challenging. You guys throw new things at us all the time. But overall, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be a part of helping build this awesome community. I hope that you guys continue to give us the space and love and the patience to help make this thing even bigger. And I look forward to, continuing to do these quarter to quarter to see all of the things that have changed and how much better we can make things for you all. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to make something that people love to use on a daily basis, and definitely feels like a fulfillment of that being here. So appreciate it all.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo the exact same sentiments. It's been fantastic. I would strongly consider myself like the least talented and least intelligent person on our team. So it's been, and that's saying something about just to have not to demean myself so much as just saying that everybody else on this team is just amazing, and it's been fantastic to work with them, and to have the opportunity to do so it's just so great. I know we feel the pressure a lot internally all of the time of like everything that's wrong with the site and everything we want to add to the site. And a lot of that just comes down to, I guess a lot of it is just, it just feels good to step back every once in a while and realize why we feel that pressure is because we care, and everybody on the team really cares about making the site great. And also we're feeling that pressure because everybody who's talking to us about it really, really cares. And that's, that's nice. I've been involved in a lot of small kind of quasi community based things before, and I've never seen this much like love and outpouring for something, and it's been really, really cool. So yeah, I don't know, I would keep going, but I'm going to start tearing up. So thank you guys so much. Frankly, it's been really fun.
Ali, you got any last words?
Same again, really. Max has just really covered it. But I appreciate you all the community. I've got to know so many of you. I recognize the names in the chat just by dealing with you in support, dealing with you in the Discord, and I'm looking forward to meeting all the rest of you.
Awesome. Maddie?
I wanted to plug Tyler and I's live stream on Friday, where we're going to be featuring iCore Labs at 3 p.m. Pacific. Really cool conversation we're going to have there, some sneak peeks from some of their work. And yeah, I'll hand it back to you, Tyler, to wrap us up.
Awesome. Well, guys, this has been our very first Civitai State of the Union. If you want to rewatch any of this, if you tune in at the end, I see that we just cracked 1,000 viewers on this at the very end of it here. So this is going to be up on our YouTube and on Twitch as soon as this stream ends. If you want to rewind and rewatch any of it, join me back here at 3 p.m. Pacific as we're going to do like a little AI image and animation session today on the live stream. And with that being said, my name is Tyler. This is Civitai.com. This is the team. These are my bosses. So, yeah, guys.
Remember to like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, give us a follow. It really helps out.
Yeah, yes. Hip thrust that like button and double pound that subscribe notification, whatever they say. I don't know. You're supposed to have some tagline, right, for this stuff? I have no idea.
I think that's going to be our That's going to be the first piece of merch that we sell, which is going to say "hip thrust the like button." That's the new one. That's the new one.
Exactly. All right.
All right, guys. Well, hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I'll catch you guys back here live in just a couple hours. We love you all.